I can hear the passion you have for Burgundy and for Pinot Noir. I mean, you're like giddy and excited like a small schoolboy talking about Pinot Noir,
yes.
which, and that's something I wanted to talk about. You don't just make your Pinot Noir here. You obviously had a long love of Pinot Noir and appreciation for Burgundy, but tell us about your other business here at Scott Paul.
Yeah, we started the winery, this will be our 11th vintage. We started in '99, and then 5 years after that I started my import company, Scott Paul Selections, which specializes exclusively in the wines of Burgundy. I've been traveling into Burgundy and spending a lot of time there for many, many years. I'm a Francophile. I love the language, the culture, the whole thing, and I fell in love with wine because of the wines of Burgundy. And there are a lot of producers over there who were not exporting to the U.S., and there were some superstar producers who at the time were unhappy with their current importer. So over a number of years I was able to put together a portfolio of about 15 really top producers in Burgundy for whom we are the exclusive national importer. We bring their wines into the U.S. and market them around the country.
That's fantastic.
And there's some of them are young, rising star kind of producers, and then there's a few established superstars in the mix as well.
Is there anything that you like us to taste that sort of represents
we got a
catalog?
couple things. When people come to the tasting room here, it's kind of unique. Not only can you taste whatever Scott Paul wines we currently have in. No, I get you another glass.
I feel like I shouldn't dump them out. When the camera turns off, I'll finish them.
When people come here, not only can they taste the Scott Paul wines that are currently in release, but then we rotate several different Burgundies onto the tasting flight. We usually have 4 or 5 wines on the flight. Usually a white Burgundy, a couple of reds, and then a couple of our Pinots. So this is a white Burgundy.
Okay.
From the village of Saint-Véran, which is down in the southern part of Burgundy, down in the Mâconnais, the very southern part of Burgundy, just before you get to Beaujolais.
Right.
And made by a very exciting young producer named Christophe Thibert, from the domaine Thibert Père et Fils, old family estate that goes back 7 generations. So of course, white Burgundy is Chardonnay.
Sure.
But they don't say that on the bottle. The wines are labeled after where they're from. So this is Saint-Véran.
And the Mâconnais, if I'm not mistaken, it's warmer than maybe the northern parts of Burgundy, right? So
it's warmer, but then the soils also change a little bit. There's not as much limestone. There is limestone, but there's also some granite down there, and it's a different climatically and different terroir entirely from the Côte d'Or. So this is from a single vineyard in Saint-Véran called Champron, which just means round field. But
your French, by the way, is much better than I don't know if you hear me butcher Mâconnais. It's not very good.
Well, I've like I said, I've always loved the country and the language, and it's sort of like it's a requirement of my job now, because none of these guys that I work with speak any English. So you speak French? Yeah.
That's fantastic. Now, how do these folks in Burgundy feel? And you're the guy from Oregon. Hey, I'm growing Pinot Noir in Oregon. Have they tried your wines? What do they?
Great question. They have. They're very interested to taste Pinot from other places.
Sure.
Because they very rightfully so feel that they're at the ground zero of Pinot Noir in the world, and they're also very constricted by the laws there. The appellation laws are so tightly controlled of what you can or can't do there that they love the fact that we have so much freedom to experiment and try stuff over here. They taste our wines. They think the wines from Oregon probably the closest philosophically to what they're doing there because of the climactic similarity. They tend to like them a lot. They think a lot of New World Pinot and New World wines in general are maybe a little too alcoholic, too big, too showy.
Right. Not the case with what you're doing here.
Hopefully not. Hopefully not. We're not trying to emulate Burgundy. We're trying to make the best Oregon Pinot that we can, but I see everything through a Burgundian lens.
Yeah, that's where your sort of standard is.
But we're trying to make the best expression of the fruit that we get from our vineyards here. But the winemakers over there appreciate the Oregon Pinots very much. There's a lot of cross-pollination of winemakers between Oregon and Burgundy, and there always has been since the Oregon industry started here.
When you guys are at the La Palais party, throwing a couple of glasses back, and everyone's happy, and
it's all good.
It's all good.
Yeah. No, I always bring some Oregon juice over there every year.
Nice. Well, this white Burgundy, the nose is nice and fresh. There's almost like a little lemon peel or lemon zest and some minerals. It's not like a typical, California Chardonnay where it's buttery and even on the nose it kind of
there's no residual sugar. This wine was all oak fermented, but only about 10% new, so it doesn't really have a lot of wood influence. It's what Chardonnay really tastes like from that village without all the makeup that people usually associate with.
It's so light.
And there's also, in Saint-Véran particularly, there's a telltale note of honey.
Yeah.
Take another step. There's always a little honey note from Saint-Véran, which doesn't happen from the village this side of it or that side of it, but in Saint-Véran, you always get
something in the soil.
Note. Yeah. combination of the soil.
There's a honey component, but the thing to me is it's just so light in my mouth. I mean, when I drink Chardonnay, I usually feel a weight in my tongue. This is just light as a feather. It's just incredibly refreshing.
It's got good acidity, good minerality, plenty of ripe fruit, but it doesn't beat you over the head.
That honey thing kind of lingers at the end. Beautiful wine. I mean, it seemed if you had to sum up Burgundy in one word, it's elegance. I mean, that's to me
Exactly.
what I'm getting.
Yeah, elegance and finesse, and those are not dirty words to me.
No, neither are they to me. Matter of fact, you said seduce earlier, which sometimes I get a hard time for my feminine words using to describe wine, but I couldn't agree more. Should we try one more?
Yeah, let's do a Redberg. I will, since I don't have any other glassware.
Wait, no.
No, we can get you some more of that. I know the owner. I can.
No.
There's more where that came from.
Okay, good.
This is a 2006 Vosne Romanée from Domaine François Lamarche.
Okay.
Vosne Romanée, of course, one of the most famous villages in all of Burgundy.
Sure.
And you understand the different classification levels in Burgundy. There's Bourgogne, there's Village, Premier
Cru, Grand Cru, right.
So this is a village. So
Okay.
this is a blend of 4 different sites they have in the village of Vosne Romanée.
And despite the strata, the classifications, I mean, village doesn't necessarily mean it's bad. It's just it doesn't have that Grand Cru status. But at the same time, there's nothing wrong. There's fantastic fruit that's being put in these wines.
There's a lot of lousy Grand Cru wine, and there's a lot of excellent village wine. It really comes down to producer.
Sure.
And how well they're taking care of their vineyards and how meticulous they are in their winemaking. There's 3,500 producers, give or take, in the Côte d'Or, and maybe only 300 of them are really going for top quality. You can have tremendous vineyard holdings and still make lousy wine. The important thing to understand is the classification is not of the wine, it's of the piece of dirt where the grapes are grown.
Right.
And those classifications were made in 1935 based on the potential they had seen from grapes grown in these places over many hundreds of years.
So maybe I don't want to stir up the pot here or say something controversial, but maybe that you can't even really take that with complete face value in terms of, maybe it doesn't quite apply, or there could be, pieces of dirt that weren't even recognized then that are great now or whatever.
No, I think they knew all the great ones by then.
Okay.
But there are really good producers who, more often than not, will sort of transcend the appellation, perhaps. There's a lot of people making gorgeous Bourgogne, a lot of people making wonderful village wines. And conversely, there's a lot of people with Grand Cru holdings who are making a lot of pretty lousy wine.
Gotcha. All right, so let's give this a taste. On the nose right off the bat, and this is a weird thing to say, it's not because I'm not saying wood, but I feel like I opened up my mom's cedar chest, and there's like a real sort of like well taken care of something about it. When you open up a cedar chest and it feels like there's something historic and something special inside of it. That's what I'm getting off this nose. And it's not wood so much. It's just like, I don't know why. It's the first thing that came to my mind when I smelled it.
Yeah, no, I would agree. There's definite notes of what we call wood spice on that.
Thanks for figuring out a way to agree with the ridiculous things that I say sometimes.
No, and a lot of that is barrel driven, and a lot of that is terroir driven.
Sure.
You get that a lot. There's one of the signature notes of anything from Vosne Romanée is always a spicy note. Some sort of Asian spice and wood spice sort of mixed in.
Maybe my mom had Asian spice in her cedar chest. I don't know. You're getting that spice on the palate as well, and there's definitely some wood notes and just again a very nice, elegant wine. I mean, it's just beautiful.
It's just pretty and pure, and there's definitely more new oak on this than any of the wines that we make. I work with about 20% new oak, and this wine here is probably 40 to 50%. So definitely more marked by the wood.
Wow. Well, Scott, this has been a treat. I have to tell you, we're here in Oregon, and taking in all that Oregon has to offer wine-wise. But I feel like we stopped into Burgundy on our way, and I really appreciate you taking the time to see us.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Until next time, I'm Neil Myers from WineExpedition.com. Get yourself a bottle, open it up. Cheers.